The Dow up 342, record close for the S&P and the Nasdaq. My goodness, all sorts of records breaking today.
Well, how about that stock market, ladies and gentlemen? MAGA in shambles as stocks yet again hit an all-time high. This is a new episode, unless it's a rerun. It's just that once again, under the stewardship of President Joe Biden, stocks have hit an all-time forever high. Here is Fox News on Fox Business reluctantly acknowledging what it is that is taking place here. And it is remarkable, I have to say.
The new record close for the Dow. The Dow up 342, record close for the S&P and the Nasdaq. My goodness, all sorts of records breaking today.
It must be that because they know Trump is coming back, they're buying stocks, and that's what's driving up the value of stocks, right? No matter how much you or I credit a president with the stock market numbers, we were told by Trump that under Biden, it would crash like the 1929 Depression, and it didn't. They are the liars. And so we're going to have a conversation in a moment about how much do presidents have to do with the stock market? You all know me. You know I don't play politics with debt and deficit. You know I don't play politics with gas prices. You know I don't play politics with the stock market. Presidents have some influence over these things, but not massive. But importantly, they, the MAGA right, are the ones who told us it will all collapse under Biden, and it didn't. Now, I do want to remind you, Trump, when he was president and the stock market did well, he gleefully took credit for it. Gleefully. Now, of course, he doesn't give Biden any credit. Now it's, well, stock market is doing well, but it's because voters believe I'll be back and therefore they are confident. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. But here is Trump gleefully taking credit for stock market performance when he was president of the United States.
For the last long period of days, the stock market, meaning companies, have been hitting new highs. The stock market has gained almost $3 trillion in value since the election on November 8th.
Right.
A record. Last week, the stock market soared to record highs, highest ever, boosting the pensions and your retirement accounts and those of hardworking Americans. The stock market reached yet another all-time, in history, all-time high today.
All right, so you get the point. Clearly taking credit for the stock market when he was president. Now, what were Donald Trump's predictions in 2020 about what would happen if Joe Biden were to win? Well, let's examine that.
Because they will destroy this country. Our country will go into a depression, the likes of which we have not seen since 1929, and maybe worse. So keep backing them, but you know it's wrong. And I really do believe it's only habit. That's the only reason you can be doing it. Under my continued leadership,
So predictions that it would be like 1929 all over again, it has failed to happen. Inflation is down. Stock market record high after record high after record high. GDP very healthy. Unemployment record sustained lows. So what is Trump now predicting about 2024 if Joe Biden were to get elected? The exact same stuff he was predicting in 2020, none of which came true.
Banned people from coming in that weren't good. The Biden administration is running on the fumes of the great success of the Trump administration. They're just running on the fumes of what we did with the tax cuts and the regulation cuts. Without us, this thing would have crashed to levels never seen before. And if we're not elected, we will have a depression, the likes of which you haven't seen since the Depression of 1929.
Well, he tried that in 2020, and we voted Biden, and it didn't happen. And he's trying it again in 2024. Only the most ignorant voter or the most devoted hardcore cultist could fall for the exact same lie again, right? I mean, in a sense, it would be the third time because Trump made similar predictions in 2016 if Hillary Clinton were to be elected. So let's be really honest about this. Because they are ahead of their skis on this, saying it'll all crash under Biden. All we need to do is say, hey, it didn't crash under Biden. You were wrong. But if we want to be a little more thorough, if we want to be a little more rigorous, we can acknowledge that a lot of the conditions that impact the stock market don't have much to do with who's president of the United States. For example, global economic conditions. You've got international economic trends and trade relations, geopolitical events. That is way beyond what the American president controls directly. Corporate earnings, to a great degree, corporate performance and profitability drive stock prices. And while certainly regulation in some general sense, which can be dictated by the federal government, affects that, the big picture is that corporate performance affects the stock market, and it doesn't have much to do with the president. Technological advancements, when you have innovations and disruptions and they lead to market shifts and new growth sectors, that's a big part of where the stock market goes, and it doesn't have much to do with who is president. Over the long term, certainly presidents cumulatively will affect that. Market sentiment, investor confidence, and market psychology. Certainly it has something to do with the opinion of the health of the environment that the president has a hand in, but it is bigger than the president. And then, of course, you've got natural disasters and all sorts of other things. Now, presidents can control, tax policy, tariff, fiscal policy. That influences market conditions to some degree. Regulatory changes. If a president introduces or repeals regulations that directly affect entire industries, that can influence investor sentiment and thus influence stock prices. Trade policy. What do we do about a trade agreement? Do we stay in it? Do we cancel it? New trade agreement. Or tariffs that can affect international trade and market stability. Government spending. Changes in federal spending on infrastructure or defense or social programs can stimulate or slow down economic growth. And as far as that goes, Joe Biden's administration has actually been helpful to the stock market. And then, of course, through the Federal Reserve, monetary policy can influence the stock market. But a lot of these things, the global economic conditions, they don't have to do with the president in the direct way that Trump wants us to believe. But all we need to remember is Trump said Biden would be so terrible that everything would crash. Nothing crashed. It is new high after new high after new high. It's maybe time to stop believing the things Donald Trump says about the economy. We've talked on the show about the various problems in the supplement industry, a major one being how the quality and freshness of what you're getting can vary, which is why for years I've turned to AG1. Our sponsor, AG1, conducts relentless testing to set the standard for purity and potency. Just a single daily scoop of AG1 has your daily vitamins, minerals, and probiotics covered, conveniently replacing all your other supplements. And AG1 is constantly searching for how to improve. At 52 iterations of their formula and counting, their team is always trying to find better ways to source and test ingredients. AG1 was researched and developed by an in-house team of scientists, doctors, and nutritionists with decades of experience in their fields. AG1 is NSF certified for sport, one of the most rigorous independent quality and safety certification programs in the supplement industry. They obsess over product quality, the standards of manufacturing partners, and their sustainability practices. You can try AG1 and get a free year supply of vitamin D and K, plus 5 free AG1 travel packs at drinkag1.com/Pacman. The link is down below.